Good morning, family. How are you this fine morning? Greg switching it up today, coming to you from my home here, and it's nice outside, but it's a little warm. But I'm going to be out late. I'm going to be out later on, but I wanted to come in and shoot it from my home inside today, and just getting another feel. So if this is your first time viewing me, just let me know that, share this out with your friends, your family, or coworkers, or whoever you think may need to hear this, because I was that person that needed to hear this. You know, I had gone through a lot of different things throughout the course of my life. Uh, in the beginning years, I was pursuing my desires to be a professional athlete. I mean, this, I was so gun ho about becoming a professional athlete. And I remember when I left high school, I went out to California and I walked on at this junior college. I'm gonna tell you this short story because this is very, very important that you hear this, because no matter how hard things get in your past, you can always, always start and begin again, no matter what. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. And I could have given up at any time. And I'm going to tell you right now, I wasn't prepared for the things that were coming down the pike. But here's what I knew: I had a desire to be something better than I was. I came from the projects in Chattanooga. My mom moved us up to Ohio, and I started playing football at the local high school, which was Mifflin High School here in Columbus, Ohio. Actually, I went out for the team, and the odds were against me. I had never played organized sports before in my life, never. So it was a shock to me. And I had people, saying that you're not going to make the team, Greg. You're too small. You don't know any of these different ins and outs. And I didn't understand the politics behind the game. What I did understand is I had the heart and desire to succeed by any means necessary. See, I was always telling myself I can and I will succeed at anything I do. So it didn't make a difference if you told me I couldn't. Every time someone told me I couldn't do something, I always bounced back and said, I know I can do this. And this was long before I even understood anything about all of this inspiration and encouragement and all of this. And I grew up without a father, so there was no father figure in my home. My mother wasn't supporting me in the football endeavor. Her deal was, you're going to go to school, get an education. And I was cool with that. My grandmother was living in California. She had been out there since 65. So I wasn't really on my own. My uncle, you know, God rest his soul. I mean, he did the best he could, but he had his family to raise. I was pretty much on my own. And I was okay with that. And I'm sharing this with you because somebody out there needs to hear this, because there's somebody probably either going through what I went through, or they're about to go through it, or they just don't have no way out and just don't understand that there is a way out. And life is going to come at you very, very fast. It's going to come at you. I mean, it's going to come at you fast. But no matter what happens in the past, you always get an opportunity to start over. Always. But you just have to know that and pull yourself up by your bootstraps and say, hey, I will succeed by any means necessary. So the story goes like this. I go out to California. I actually walk on the team. I didn't get a scholarship. This was a junior college out in Pasadena, very prestigious college, and I didn't know nothing about it. Okay. So long story short, I'm trying out for the team. I'm about to make the team. The coach says, hey, if you can send me some film, you can get some film to me, then I can, take a look at it and we can go from there. I said, Coach, hey, don't you see me out here competing? What better thing to see than me competing? I'm competing, and I'm competing at a high level. I don't know that these guys had came to PCC by way of scholarship. I don't know that. I don't have it. All I know is that my dreams and goal is to play football, and I want to play football, and this is an opportunity. And back in the day, if you were a resident in California, you could go to college for free. Yeah, that was a that was a sweet deal. So I called back to my coach in Ohio, Mr. Orff, and he didn't send any film. He just refused to send any film for whatever reason. Probably that's for another story. I'll share that. He probably ticked off at me from when I stood up to him in my 10th grade year. Yeah, I stood up to him in my 10th grade year, and he was a history teacher. I'm not going to tell that story. I may even tell that story somewhere later, but that was difficult. So what happened was, as a result of that, I wasn't able to continue there because I wanted to play football. So this is where my grandmother came in. She was so awesome. She drove an old Dodge Dart. Okay. My cousin had told me that this college, Azusa Pacific, uh, may have some openings. So I went over there initially, and I asked the coach, and he said, "Yeah, blah blah blah." So they told me to schedule. My grandmother, at the time, she probably was in her late mid 60s. She was probably in the mid 60s. She drove me every day to practice to Azusa Pacific from Pasadena, California, every day. That was hard on her, but she believed in me as bad as I believed in myself, and that was great. So I practice. I'm practicing with the team. I'm practicing with the team. We're about to put the pads on, and the coach comes to me and says, "Greg, the fact that you tried out for PCC in this same school year, you're going to have to sit out, and then you can still go to school here, but you're going to have to sit out." I was devastated, ladies and gentlemen. I was I was saying a few choice words. I was a young buck. I was probably 19. I was about 19 years old, young. Things were moving fast, but I still had the hunger and the desire to pursue my dreams. And it was hard, but I still hung in there. So what I did was I said, you know what? The heck with this. So I'm not going to drag out the story because it's a long story, but it brings me around. No matter how hard things are, you still get a chance to try again. You don't ever let nobody tell you anything different. So the moral of the story is, I get on a bus and come back to Ohio. At the time, it was a great idea, but hindsight being 2020, it turned out to be a good and a bad thing. So I come back to Columbus. I had been gone for a while. I reconnect with some people. It looked like they were still doing the same thing that they were doing when I left, and I was like, I didn't want to appear that I was more advanced than them, but I was doing some things far beyond what they could comprehend, and I was like, this ain't working for me. So I got in some trouble. I had to go to court. That was devastating because I'd never gotten in trouble before, and I went to court. So the judge says, "Hey, young man, if you end up in my courtroom again, you're gonna serve all of this time," because he's suspended all the time. Because I actually got into an altercation with a police officer. He put me in a full Nelson. True story, ladies and gentlemen. This is not me embellishing nothing. This is a true story. I got into an altercation, which what I thought was a security guard turned out to be a Columbus police officer. He put me in a full Nelson. From my previous training as a wrestler in high school, I got out of the full Nelson. I'm saying all this to say that I'm not bragging or boasting up. I'm saying that that's what happened. As a result, I got thrown in jail overnight. See, I tell people the first form of healing is to be true to yourself. If you can't be true to yourself, you can't be true to nobody. You can't even start the process of healing. So yes, I got thrown in jail overnight. It was devastating. I was embarrassed. My mom, I was like, I let my people down, blah blah blah. Okay, so I go down and I joined the Marine Corps. And this is what's making this story about no matter how hard things happen in your past, you can always start again. So I joined the Marine Corps. I'm down in the Marine Corps, sitting on the foot. I'm not sitting on the foot. I forget what I'm actually doing. My mom sends me a letter because the Azusa Pacific has sent her a letter unbeknownst to me. The letter states that due to your circumstances, Mr. Napier, you can play for the football team and go to school here. I cried like a baby. It's too late now. I'm in the Marine Corps. I cried for a week every day. The fellow recruits was, same as me, trying to find out what was going on. I said, leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. It was hard. So things are going to be hard in your life. You're going to get hit with a lot of jagged edges. You're probably getting hit with a jagged edge right now. My job and my goal is to inspire you and encourage you to live your best quality of life. Actually, as a result of not playing football for Azusa Pacific and joining the Marine Corps, turned out to be a great thing. The Marine Corps wasn't on my radar when I joined the Marine Corps. That wasn't what my desire was. I told you my desire was to play in the NFL. I was pretty good as a student athlete. I had decent grades. College was a little rough because I wasn't prepared for college because I was playing around in high school, but I overcame that. I learned how to adapt and overcome long before I went into the Marine Corps because I had been adapting and overcoming from a child. Guess. Was it hard? Yes. Did I get a chance to start all over again? Yes. And you get that same opportunity. Don't let nobody tell you can't do nothing. Don't let nobody ever tell you what you can and cannot do. Because the God I serve says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And before I knew that scripture, I remember my mom and my grandmother telling me I can do anything that I put my mind to. If you don't give up, you will succeed. So I knew that before I even read part of the book in Og Mandino's part where it says, I will persist until I succeed. I have been persisting until I succeed. And I've had some failures and I've had some successes. As a result of going into the Marine Corps, and then after the Marine Corps, getting a job with the Postal Service that I worked for 25 years, I met the love of my life. I don't know where I would be without Carolyn in my life. You want to talk about angels on earth? Carolyn has been an angel, has been the most beautiful thing that could have ever happened to me outside of giving my life to Christ. Giving my life to Christ and being married to Carolyn are the two best things that ever happened to me in my life. Now that doesn't have to happen. That may not have happened had I been able to pursue my dreams and goals and aspiration of becoming a professional football player, because I was truly pursuing that. I said, this is my gateway. I can get out. I could buy my mom a home. My mom don't have to be in the hood no more. That was what I wanted to do. I can't. And I'm the oldest of 8 children. But I was hungry then. I've been hungry seriously since I was 8 years old. And I'm 63 years of age. I don't like to say old. I like to say of age. I'm 63 years of age and I'm still hungry. And I will remain hungry until the trumpet blows. Because that's just the way I'm built. Now, you may not be built that way. You may just have a smidget of it, but you have greatness on the inside of you. And don't let nobody tell you you can't do nothing. No. Is it going to be hard? Is it going to be difficult? Yes. If it was very easy, everybody would be doing it. Greatness is for those who recognize that they have greatness inside of them and they're pursuing it. If you fail, doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means it hasn't hit yet. That's why you see I've heard people say, if you gotta fail, fail fast. Fail fast and fail forward. Okay. I'm constantly moving forward. I'm in what's considered the catbird seat. I don't have to do anything at this point. God has done exceedingly and above any and everything I could ask for. At this point, I could sit down from now until the trumpet blows and be great. But I'm not satisfied. I'm still hungry. You got to still have that fire down in your belly that you know without a shadow of a doubt that you can and you will succeed by any means necessary. I wanted to share that with you because somebody out there is battling depression. Somebody out there is battling alcoholism. Somebody out there is battling pornography. Somebody's out there battling child molestation. Somebody's out there battling a lot of different things. Somebody is battling the fact that they're not where they should be at this point in time in their life. I didn't get the goal or achieve the goal of becoming a professional football player, but I understood this thing called pivot. And once I got a true revelation of that, life became a lot easier and pliable for me. Yes. So going forward, I may start shooting a little bit more of them right here from in my home. I like being outside. So it just depends on how I feel and how the Holy Spirit leads and guides me throughout the course of the day, weeks, and months. I never know. On my screen, I was just looking at my screen because my wife is on my screen on my phone. And that's what motivates me. That's what encourages me. That's what lifts me up and gets me through a lot of the dark days that I was in the past from when we got married, when we were going together. And then my wife divorced me in 1993, and we were divorced for 2 years. That was a dark 2 years. And it was hard. Yeah. And I don't want to get teary eyed, but it was hard. I promise you, it was straight hard. But I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I said, if it's to be, it's up to me. And I ain't gonna give up. And God saw fit to give me another chance. That was God. That's why I say it may be hard, but you're gonna get an opportunity to do it again and again and again. Just get up. Just keep dusting yourself off. No matter what they say. You may have gone on your 10th interview and they told you no. Just don't quit. Just don't quit. Keep pursuing it. Keep being on hot pursuit. Keep being on hot pursuit. When it came to the end of the road and it looked like I wasn't going to be able to accomplish that goal of being a professional player, I didn't quit. I didn't quit. I said, okay, Lord, I got to make a pivot. I made a pivot. I joined the Marine Corps. When the Marine Corps was over, I said, I got to make a pivot. I took the test. I passed the test and got a job with the United States Postal Service. When I saw what the Postal Service was paying me, I jumped for joy. And here's the deal. I was in my 90-day probation. I didn't have a car. And one of the stipulations was if you're late any time, you're going to be fired. And I didn't have a car. And I understood that in order for me to get to the next level, I needed this job. I wanted this job. That's why I stayed there as long as I did. But God said, Greg, it's time to go and pivot. And each time that God speaks, I'm listening. What voice are you listening to? So I want to say, God keep you, God be with you, and you deserve to have a Jesus filled day. You know why? Because God says so. And God is still on the throne. And God will take care of you because He says He will never leave you nor forsake you.